Welcome, everybody, to our weekly Cruise Chat for Canadians. I'm Tina Dowd. I'm the proud owner of Vacations for Canadians, and we are here to talk to you tonight about transatlantic cruises. So how this is going to work, we're going to have a short discussion. Luke's going to do a presentation about transatlantic cruises. Feel free to pop your questions in the chat at any time. And after that, we will have a prize giveaway. And then after that, we're going to open it up for any questions about cruising that you have at all. And our panel, we have a small panel tonight, but still a good one. Our panel will be happy to answer any questions you have about cruising. All right, I'm going to hand it over to Luke.
Excellent. Thanks, Tina. All right, let's get started here. Our topic tonight is transatlantic. Again, as Tina pointed out, as I go through my presentation, if there's any questions around transatlantic or any topics of your choice with regards to cruising, we'll touch on them after the presentation. So let's just dive in here. So transatlantic, also known as a repositioning cruise. So technically it's a cruise that goes from one port and it finishes in another port, and typically it's usually at the beginning or at the end of a season. So at the end of a season, a ship may go from, let's say, Florida and head over to Southampton to start its summer season, spring/summer season. So we'll dive into that. And as you can see on the screen, it's kind of like an image of an itinerary that the ship goes from Fort Lauderdale to Bermuda to Ponte Delgada and then ends up in Southampton. So we can talk about that. So again, to touch the point is that a transatlantic usually will start in one continent, finish in the other continent, and in between that there might be a series of ports. Usually they're a lot lighter from a port perspective, just because they have to cross a large body of water, and they can either go from, let's say, one continent, the US, to a continent in the UK or somewhere in the Mediterranean, and so on. And of course, as the image shows in the middle, spend a lot of time at sea. And this is a view that I never get bored of, is the ship wake, because it kind of tells a story that you've been places and you're heading to another location. All right. So when's the best time to take a transatlantic cruise? Typically, transatlantics are usually offered in two separate periods of the year. Spring, typically March into early May, or in the fall, late September into November. So in the spring, it would be cruises that are leaving North America, heading over to Europe to do their summer. And then in the fall, you would have ships that are leaving the Mediterranean, Southampton, some of those ports, heading back to North America to do their Caribbean season, Alaska, and some of those other types of cruises. Who sails on transatlantic, or where can I find transatlantic cruises? Well, these are some of the cruise lines that offer transatlantic. Celebrity, Royal Caribbean, Norwegian, Virgin, who's a fairly new player in the cruising industry. Holland America, Princess, Azamara, and the list goes on. So any cruise line that has ships that they reposition at various times of the year would have a transatlantic, or also known as a repositioning cruise. There are obviously pros and cons to doing cruises like a transatlantic. So I've got some notes here that I want to make sure that I don't miss anything on. Pros, typically longer cruise. So if you prefer to have those 10 to 14 to 20-day cruise, transatlantic is a perfect opportunity. The other pro in this particular case is if you like to relax and you don't like the busyness of being in a port-intensive type of itinerary, transatlantics are excellent because there are, you may have 5 to 7 sea days in between the time you've left one continent to the other. And it allows you to relax. It allows you to do a whole bunch of different things, which we will touch on, things that you can do while you're on the ship, while you're at sea. And the huge benefit as well, or the huge pro in this particular case, is many times transatlantic cruises are cheaper per day than your typical cruise, because you're not paying those extra port fees, those extra charges that when they're going from port to port and so on. So transatlantic cruises are less expensive. So you can actually sail for, and I'll show you a couple of examples further on into the presentation, is that you could possibly get a transatlantic for 14 days for the cost of approximately a 7-day to 10-day cruise. So there are benefits from that perspective. In the same token, some of these may actually be considered cons because, what am I going to do on the ship? 14 days is a long time. Obviously, it's maybe some of the activities on the ship might become a little more repetitive, like the same shows after 7 days, they usually recycle them. So you may see the same shows reappear during your cruise. Another con would be if you're looking for a port intensive or you want to visit a lot of destinations during your 14 days, well, you're limited because, again, you're spending a lot of time at sea. So there are pros and cons to a transatlantic. Again, it all depends on what you're looking for. It all depends on what you want to do. But if you really want to relax, you want to enjoy the ship for what ships offer, they're a really good opportunity to do that at a cost-effective daily rate. What do I do while I'm on board or during the sea day? Obviously, one of the big things is you get to relax, you get to unwind, you get to disconnect from life in general. Don't get that Wi-Fi package. If you don't want to have to deal with, work or all kinds of stuff, you can completely disconnect, spend life at sea, enjoy the sea air, and take advantage of everything the ship has to offer. Which brings me to entertainment. Obviously, while you're at sea, you have more opportunities to do the different shows, to do the different activities, the trivias and the shows at night, or the comedy clubs, or even, have a few drinks one night, let yourself relax and maybe join a karaoke and go out and sing your heart out and that kind of stuff, right? So, and the thing is, because you're on the ship for 7 days, if you miss the first show, it'll probably play later on in the cruise, and then you can catch some of those shows. The other thing too is you get to meet some really fantastic people on a cruise, especially if you're spending all those days at sea. You hang out at the bar, or hang out at an atrium or a patio somewhere on the ship, and you meet new people. You have more time to do that versus when you're in a port intensive itinerary. You cross paths, but you don't really connect as much as you would if you did a transatlantic or a similar type of cruise. Other amenities that you can take advantage of is things like hot tubs and pools and that kind of stuff. Given the fact that these cruises are usually in the fall and in the spring, chances are there are less children or kids on board, which means it becomes a more adult atmosphere, which means the pools, are more what I'll call more adult friendly, in the sense that you don't have kids jumping in the hot tub while you're trying to sit there and relax and do that stuff, or even the pools or that kind of stuff. So given the fact that they are a longer cruise, you actually also benefit from maybe a reduced number of children on board. And of course, taking advantage of the ship's amenities. Things that are not here are things such as the spa. Maybe going and saying, you know what, I really need to unwind and get rid of some tension. Join the spa, do some of the features that they have. Go to the gym, walk around the ship, enjoy the ship for what it has to offer. So there are a lot of things you can do on a ship. I've actually been on ships where, it's so busy and so intensive that I got off the ship and realized, hey, wait a second, I missed this and I missed that based on people's feedback and comments that I've saw on Facebook and talking to different people. This way you would have the benefit of trying and seeing everything the ship has to offer. The benefits of a transatlantic is you could actually do a back-to-back cruise, or what's also known as a side-to-side cruise. So the difference between a back-to-back and a side-to-side is the back-to-back, you basically stay on the same ship. So you would travel, let's say, from Fort Lauderdale to Southampton to do a transatlantic. Then you book another cruise to go with it that's on the same ship, where you might do a British Isles cruise or an Ireland cruise or a Northern Europe or even a Mediterranean, depending on where that ship ends. Stay on the same ship. If you book early enough, you could possibly get the same cabin. You unpack once and you're done for the 2 weeks or the 14 days or the length of your cruise. And if you have to switch cabins, the cruise lines are very accommodating, where they'll help you pack your stuff, move it to the other room that you'll be moving to, and you just switch rooms. You get off the ship, you clear customs, whatever the process is for the country that you're in, and get back on the ship and continue as if you didn't really get off the ship. And then you've turned your 14-day cruise into possibly a 20 or 30-day cruise, depending on what you tag on the end. A side-by-side cruise is you take that same transatlantic from Fort Lauderdale to Southampton. You get to Southampton, you say, you know what? I've done this particular ship in the same port. There might actually be, let's say you were cruising with Royal Caribbean, and you get into port and there's a Princess cruise ship sailing that same day, doing a 10 or 12 or whatever Mediterranean cruise, and you get off the Royal Caribbean ship, walk on to the Princess cruise, and you change cruise line ship. It doesn't have to be changing cruise line. It could actually just be changing your ship. And it's basically a side-to-side. So you get off one ship, get on another one, and cruise again. So that's another option, or the difference between a back-to-back and a side-to-side. One of the benefits here is if you book a back-to-back with Celebrity, they do have some extra onboard credit or a discount that they offer, so that you can benefit from doing a back-to-back. And I know Celebrity offers it. We'd have to look into if there's other cruise lines that do it as well. So setting sails on the transatlantic, excellent experience. Again, you feel as though you're going to unwind, relax, enjoy the ship. And really, bottom line here is just relaxing. So before I end my presentation, what I'll do is I am going to share my screen, and I will take you to our website. Can you all see this? Can you guys see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. I just wanted to make sure, because I want to make sure you're seeing it. So Vacations for Canadians, we have a website. We post deals regularly, either in our Facebook group, Cruise Deals for Canadians, or on our website. So if you come to our website, vacationsforcanadians.com, you go down to deals, cruise deals, and if you're looking for a transatlantic, we'll wait for the menu to show up. right here, there's a drop down, and these are the different regions that you can cruise in. So if we go to Transatlantic is here somewhere, there it is. The screen will refresh, and here are some of the deals that we have currently with regards to Transatlantic. And you'll notice that some of these, if we look at the Virgin Voyage on Resilient Lady for fall next year, you'll notice here that a price of $2,684 for 14 days. I mean, that's a steal, you know, when you think about it, because these are prices you would think that you're going on a 5 or 6 or 7 day cruise in the Caribbean, for example. Perfect, excellent pricing, and you'll notice that it's very consistent in terms of, and these are all deals. These are all deals that are either spring 2025 or fall 2025, and we post them on a regular basis. So, like I said, you'll notice that some of these prices are actually very reflective of the fact that they're less port intensive, more sea days, which means at the end of the day, you can do a 14-day cruise for less than you would a 7-day cruise. So we'll take we'll actually head back here. I'll stop sharing my screen and go back to our presentation. And so that's fundamentally our presentation on Transatlantic. There's a lot of information here. And I don't know if we actually have any questions, so maybe I'll hand it back to Tina, and maybe she can guide us along onto our next step of our evening.
I absolutely love that, Luke, that you just showed that. Honestly, like, we put our deals together every day, but I don't necessarily see all the transatlantics in one spot. And that was just a pure indication of the fantastic deals that you can get on transatlantic cruises. So that's great for anybody that's, you know, wanting to save a bit of money, have a bit of a longer cruise, you know, isn't too worried about tons of ports. It's a great option. All right. Linda, do you want to take over? Are we doing questions or a giveaway here?
Well, we're going to take the question first because we want to answer those right off the top, and then we can do the giveaway after. So Eleanor is asking, if we see a price somewhere, will you match? Tina, do you want to take that one?
Yeah, sure. I'll start with that. So we don't have a price matching policy per se, but if you, we do have a meet or beat policy. So if you get the price from the cruise line directly, we will either meet or beat it. As far as if you're getting it from another agency, we all have different incentives and promotions running at different times. So there isn't a guarantee that we'll be able to match it. But I would say we are pretty darn good about finding deals and getting great incentives from our suppliers, that I would say you have a pretty good shot that we are going to be able to match or beat it. So absolutely give us a chance to do that. Anybody else want to add on to
Awesome.
that?
Does anyone else have anything to add to that? I think.
Well, actually, no. I had this experience today.
All right, so it's giveaway time, and today we're going to be. Oh, sorry.
Oh, sorry.
Luke, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I had a perfect experience today. I had a client reach out and say that they had found a price on the Celebrity website for a specific ship, and asked me if I could match or beat the price. And in the end of the day, the price that we had was exactly what was on the Celebrity website, because obviously the promotions were equal to that. But given the fact that we currently have a Vacations for Canadians deal with Celebrity right now, we can add a $200 US onboard credit if you book a balcony or higher. So sometimes we can match the price, but if we have incentives that were provided to us by our suppliers, we transfer those to our clients, and sometimes we can actually add value and add some extra onboard credits to some of these deals.
Great example. And we do get a lot of those supplier promotions.
Yes.
They want us to do their bookings for them. They actually want clients to go through us rather than going through them. So that's why they give us so much incentive to try and book people.
Could I just add a few points to Luke's presentation?
Of course.
Sure. I missed the beginning, so I apologize if I
Of
repeat
course,
something.
Rick.
The the transatlantics, these are some of the best priced cruises out there. You see savings there you won't see anywhere else. Lowest cost, I mean, sorry. It's because that's, they're trying to fill those ships. One of the big advantages I hear from a lot of our clients when they're going from Europe to North America is you're going to go through 5 time zones. So you're going to have some 25-hour days there. So if you like the entertainment side of it, it's a good way to stretch your day. And 2 more points. Cunard does regular transatlantic sailings, back and forth all the time. They're the only ones who do that. So,
and they're only 7 days.
Yeah.
And they don't have any stops at all.
Well, they have some longer ones as well, but they have the short
But
ones.
people love them because they get to the United Kingdom, and instead of flights, like why wouldn't you want to take a 7-day cruise?
And if you want to take your pet across the ocean, Cunard's the only way you can do it on a ship.
Good to know.
And then the last point I have is on the side. I want to pick up on Luke's good point there. Is not only you can walk off one ship and get onto another, but you can also spend a few days in that port and then get on another ship. So it's another opportunity right there. So I just wanted to add those few points, Luke.
Excellent. Thanks, Rick.
Carrie, do you have anything to add to any of those before we move on to the giveaway?
Sure, why not? I would just say, like, the good thing about a transatlantic cruise is, for one, people that don't like to fly and want to go see Europe, it's a perfect way to do it. 2, it's a lot more comfortable to take a cruise for 7 days or 14 days than it is to sit on a plane, and it's probably about the same price, and someone's catering after you. So if you have the time and you're able to do it, it's probably the best way to do Europe or get to there.
Fantastic. Thanks, Carrie. And we have a question from Eleanor. She asks if have any of you sailed Cunard? I've heard it's pretty fancy. So has anyone sailed Cunard here?
I don't think so, but we've obviously had lots of
Tina,
clients that
Rick.
sailed Cunard.
Well, we sell it, and it's popular. I can tell you, it's on my personal ever-growing list of desires, but it hasn't been done yet by me. No, sorry. But it is a little bit different than the other cruise lines. There are, like, for example, you have the Princess Grill, and you have, sorry. You have the Princess Grills and the Queen Grills, so the different dining rooms. So it's a little bit.
Oh, I was just going to say, based on.
I don't hear.
I think you're cutting out there, Linda.
Yeah, I think Linda might be having a bit of a lag issue. So anyways, do you want to continue, Rick?
Yeah, they have the formal nights on Cunard. And they're more traditional formal than the other cruise lines are becoming. You'll see a lot more tuxedos on a Cunard ship than you will see anywhere else.
I would say too, to think that it's, if you think English, with the tea times and just, it's more of an English cruise than a North American cruise.
Yeah. But you don't have to do the formal,
right,
if that's what you want, right? So there's options all the time on any cruise line.
Okay, so I don't know. I think Linda, do you want to try again and
Sure.
Okay.
Can you hear me? Am I good?
Yes, you're good.
Amazing. All right. So we do have another question. So I'm going to pop that up. Sorry, I keep getting ready to do the giveaway and then we get some really good questions. So we want to pop that up there. We just need to decide if a TA to or from the UK, as we need to do Scotland and then Ireland. Just not sure is spring or fall. Had a friend go from New Jersey to Southampton for his first cruise and happy he enjoyed it. We've been on 3, all on RC. Not sure exactly.
I don't think there's a right answer to this question. I really think it's probably a personal preference if you want to do the spring or the fall. It sounds like a fantastic cruise. I've done Scotland and Ireland many times. And New Jersey's a nice, easy port to get in and out of. Depending on where you live, you might even be able to drive. I guess you can't drive because you wouldn't have your car there at the end. But it's fairly close for a flight. It may be only an hour and a half if you're coming from Ontario. So yeah, I think it's all in preference. Would you rather go over ahead and spend a few days there ahead and then get on the ship, or would you rather end there? So yeah.
Yeah, and to add to that is obviously if you do a transatlantic in the spring, so you're basically leaving New Jersey and heading over to Southampton, obviously on the Royal Caribbean ship in this particular point. And then once you're there, then, if you want to stay on the same ship and you know that the itinerary is doing a British Isles cruise, I guess, that's an option. If not, then if it is the following sailing, which sometimes they'll do like an Iceland, Norway, British Isles, and they rotate between those 3 different itineraries while they're there, is you may want to spend a week in going into London and exploring a little bit of England, and then coming back to the Southampton port, then doing your British Isles cruise, and then either from there doing another back-to-back or flying home from there. So and the reverse can actually happen, right? You could do the opposite in the fall, where you do your British Isles cruise and then you line it up so that you can either stay on the ship and head back to Southampton, or take a week, do London, take your transatlantic back. So there's a lot of flexibility, and any one of us can help you plan that and figure out what options and what ships are available, and understand your needs and work with you on getting yourself on a transatlantic, including a UK cruise.
Great. Anybody?
I'll just add to the comment there, Bob. I think Bob's concerned about the weather, spring or fall, and I guess I don't know the weather at the other end at those times, but you're not limited to spring or fall if you take a canard cruise. You can go anytime you want. So that's just a small addition to Luke's point.
Well, and the weather in the UK is never fantastic, regardless of when you go.
That's funny. All right, so we don't have any more questions at this moment. If you have some, feel free to pop them into the comments, and they don't have to be about transatlantic cruises. They can be anything to do with cruising. We have 4 experts sitting here on our panel getting ready to take all those questions. But before we do that, we're going to do a little giveaway. We're going to do a giveaway for a VFC baseball cap. And the first person to comment with one of the cruise lines that does transatlantic cruises will win that. So we'll let you pop those in the comments.
Okay, somebody comment already. I'm not a singer. There we go.
Yay! There we go. So the first one was Eleanor. Congratulations, Eleanor. So I'm going to put my email in the comments, and if you can send me an email with your mailing address and phone number, we will get that prize out to you. All right. So see, now you're all warmed up on the keyboard and you're ready to go. So we actually we have Tina, Luke, Rick, and Carrie, all travel advisors, and obviously Tina is the owner as well of Vacations for Canadians, all cruising experts, and all here to answer your burning cruising questions and also to share their best tips and tricks and answer any questions you might have. So pop those into the comments, and while you're getting those typed out and you're thinking about what you want to ask them, I'm going to ask them some questions to get us started. So we've been talking, we saw the deals page on the website. And so what would be your best tip or suggestion on how to make sure that somebody gets the best deal on a cruise? Maybe we can start with Carrie.
Just unmute myself. How do you get the best cruise? Work with an agent. As Tina mentioned earlier, agents do get the best rates. So we can either, worst case, we meet the cruise line's rates, or we can beat it. And I would say most times we can beat it, either with price or with a promotion, either an OBC, or we can add free dining or whatever promotion's going on at the time. So that would be my big thing, is to work with an agent.
That's very sound advice. And how about Rick? Do you have a tip or a trick for getting the best deal and finding the best cruise?
I can't really add better than Carrie's answers. Call us. We know what promotions are going on at any given time by the cruise lines, so we can shortcut the process. And they're always coming out. They're always coming out of one, especially now, where we're inundated with Black Friday deals. And it's a great time to book. But not only that, we have all the tools at our fingertips to research and to find that cruise for you. So you just have to give us your preferences, when you want to go, what places you want to see, what places you want to avoid, who wants to go, the ages, that kind of thing. And we can dive quickly and get you that ideal cruise identified right away.
Fantastic. Now, for people who are maybe first-time cruisers or haven't cruised much, maybe Luke, can you explain why it's important to book early instead of kind of that all-inclusive mindset of like, oh, let's wait till the very last minute and then jump on? Because I think a lot of people think that that's the best way to get a deal.
It's interesting you asked me that question, because I was just exactly going to talk about planning ahead, planning early. You want to go on a cruise in November of 2024. If you're looking for a March break cruise, 2025, for the most part, the luck of finding great deals or exclusive rate deals are gone. So to that point, we post regular deals in our group, Cruise Deals for Canadians. Also on the Facebook page, on our website, Vacations for Canadians, we have a deals tab, and within that deals tab, there's a drop down for exclusive rates. Exclusive rates are basically rates we've pre-negotiated with many cruise lines. They're almost preferred rates in a sense. Most of them come with a refundable deposit. But also, it's to plan ahead. You want to book a cruise for 6, 9, 10 months, a year and a half away. The further out you book, a lot of times the cheaper they are. And if the price does change after you book it, we can always reprice them for you. If the market was to come down and they are cheaper. But the important thing here is, yes, there are last minute deals, but the options are so small and the availability is so limited that we can't always guarantee that you're going to get that perfect balcony at a decent rate. It's usually what's left. It could be, you're on you got a guaranteed room, or if you want to travel with another couple and you need 2 rooms, one might be on deck 5 and the other one may be at the other end of the ship on deck 2. And it's just the nature of the cruise industry these days. So my advice, contact one of us, plan early, book early, and we'll find you the best rate, best deal that far out. Plus you have the benefit of being able to pick your cabin, pick your location on the ship, or at least you have a better opportunity of doing that if you book early.
Thanks, Luke. That's very sound advice. And Tina, do you have anything you'd like to add to that?
Of course I do.
I knew you would.
All right, my advice is to don't be afraid to ask your agent when is the best time to book. We are usually in the know if something is coming or that we haven't seen something for a while and it might be coming back. I'll put Norwegian out there, for example. The 250 cruise first, where they give you $500 for buying a $250 coupon, comes around quite frequently. So we know if we haven't seen it for a while, it's probably coming back. So we might say, hold off, it's probably coming back. Or sometimes we get the heads up on sales. Like I'm going to tell you right now, Celebrity this month, right? This is the best sale that we have seen all year. So I'm going to tell you honestly, we are big on being open and honest about when to book. And there are certain cruise lines right now that we're going to tell you now is the time to book. It doesn't matter how far out you're going. It could be 2 years out. It's still better to book now. And don't be afraid to ask your agent, is this a cruise that I can reprice if the price goes down? And I'm going to be honest with you guys, and the agents can tell you their experience as well. I very seldom reprice a cruise. Cruise prices don't typically go down, they go up. So I always say, book it as far out as you can, but you can always ask the question, if it goes down, will I be able to reprice it? And we can tell you the conditions that the cruise line has put on us, whether we can reprice it. It's often yes, as long as it's the same, sort of category and everything. It has to be apples to apples, but don't be afraid to ask your agent about that.
Fantastic. Carrie, Rick, either of you have anything to add to that?
Just when you come to reprice, if you come at the last minute, let's say you choose a Veranda 2 on a Celebrity sailing, and you go, oh, can we reprice it? Well, if it's all sold out, we can't reprice it because they have nothing to benchmark it against. It's so can't wait too long. And like Tina said, it's rare that we get the chances to reprice because our group prices are amazing. So it's hard to beat from the start. Well, I just want to add one more point on the point of last minute booking. There was a posting that went up today, and a client called me within a couple of hours of it going up, and it was already sold out. There was only 1 or 2 available. So you're taking
that happens a lot.
Yeah,
you have to be quick.
you can't count on it. You have to, and you want to take a certain sailing, book it early. You get the cabin selection you want, and with our group prices, you're going to get the great price. That's it.
Excellent. Carrie, did you have anything to add?
No, as Tina mentioned, if you are looking for Celebrity, book by Sunday and don't leave it till Sunday night because everyone's going to be busy. And it's once we hit that time and we can't get it in. So book early, but this is the weekend to do it for sure.
Fantastic. So speaking of Celebrity and other cruise lines, so for some people who have only maybe done 1 cruise line or 2 cruise lines and they're not sure about making that switch to maybe going from Royal to Celebrity, or they've cruised on Princess and maybe they're thinking Holland America because they see something. What would you recommend as far as how to really decide which cruise line is right for you and if it's going to be a good fit for you? maybe we could start with maybe we'll start with Carrie this time. We'll start where we left off.
Sure. Every cruise line is a little bit different, and it depends on the person that's cruising. So as an agent, I like to ask a few questions. Are you going with a spouse? Is it a special occasion? Do you want a little more luxury, or do you just want to get away for the sun? Are you bringing kids? And there's certain cruise lines that do cater a little more to what type of family it is, or even multi-generational families. And then the other side of it, do you like a lot of entertainment? Are you a person that can't sit still? For me, I'm that person. And so I always prefer a larger ship because there's so much to see. There's more shows and things to do. So that's another way to determine what type of ship. I would recommend trying new ones. I've been stuck on certain brands because I like it and I don't like to change. But I was recently forced to try a different brand, and I'm like, oh, I should have did this a long time ago. So try different brands and then decide if you really like it, for sure.
Thanks, Carrie. Luke, recommendations as far as how to choose that cruise line or know if it's right for you if you see a great deal with a line you're not familiar with?
So, and this is, I'm going to touch a little bit on Carrie's point. The challenge is sometimes it's to get out of your comfort zone. I'll be honest, I'm a huge Royal Caribbean fan, not necessarily because they're the all and be all. It's more of, I did Carnival, I did Princess, then I got on my first Royal Caribbean. And then I think the loyalty program with Royal Caribbean is what kept me there because I wanted to get to a certain level. But I have tried Celebrity, and I was shocked, to be honest with you, that it's a bit of a, not necessarily a culture shock, but it is definitely somewhat different than Royal Caribbean, even though they're owned by the same company. To get out of the comfort zone, it's more about separating yourself from what keeps you there. Every cruise line is different. Every cruise line offers you different benefits. They cater to different people. Some are more adult-centric versus kid-centric. But in the same token, and again, to Carrie's point, is are you somebody that prefers to relax or prefers to have a lot of activities and a lot of the flashing lights and shows and, aqua theaters and, zip lining on the ship and slides and all kinds of stuff. And that's basically the best thing in the end is let us work with you so we get to understand you and make a recommendation based on maybe trying something new. If you're a new cruiser, it's a non issue up front because you haven't cruised before. So trying anything is the easy part. Once you've cruised like myself, it's to get out of that comfort zone and try something new and, expand your experience with different cruise lines, because every cruise line has different perks, benefits, and make you feel differently at the end of the day. But it's for me, it's been a challenge just because, you get accustomed to one cruise line, but my door is open now and I want to try different things. And maybe one day I'll try Cunard. No, it's, do the Celebrities, do the Princess, do the Norwegian and some of the other cruise lines and try something new because they each have something different to offer.
Amazing. Rick, how about you? Because you've done not only some of the contemporary lines, but you've done some of the luxury lines as well. So you probably have a little bit different perspective on that as well.
Well, I think Carrie and Luke touched on it. The key is knowing what you like. and what you're looking for in a cruise vacation. And if you're a novice, if you haven't sailed enough, we can guide you. I mean, that's our role. The best we can have a phone conversation with you. We can ask you a few questions, and we'll quite quickly try to match you with the right cruise line. It's the best way. Otherwise, you're taking a big risk with some big investment, and we really don't want to turn you off on cruising. We want to make sure you have the best cruising experience. So the best, share our experiences with you, and we'll guide you into the right ship.
Amazing. Tina, do you have anything to add to that?
Of course I do.
I know, I could see you.
I haven't always been a travel agent, so I got to tell you, I have been on the wrong ship for me before. Actually, I can think of numerous times where I have been on the wrong ship because I was price shopping. And it might have only been a $500, $1,000 swing one way or the other, but because I was trying to save that almighty buck, I went on the wrong cruise line. And all I can say is not all cruise lines are meant for all people. So you might be sitting around one night having a few glasses of wine with your friend and they tell you how great a certain cruise line is. That doesn't mean that it's a great cruise line for you. And again, back to Rick's advice, the best thing for you to do, and we're not biased. We're not going to pick one cruise line or the other. We are going to match you with what makes sense. So give us a call and let us go through those few questions. We're going to be able to match up pretty quickly based on our questions. You might have already done some have some ideas of what you might want to do, but we're going to be able to help you really pinpoint the best options.
And I think a lot of people, and we're going to answer Linda's question as soon as we're done this little discussion. But I think a lot of people, feel like they don't want to bug somebody because they're not ready quite to commit. They're doing research and they think, oh, I don't want to be, a pain to somebody asking them a bunch of questions when I need to get all my ducks in a row before I'm ready to make a decision. But I think, obviously we're here to help, and the agents, and I probably should let them speak to this, but I mean that's our job, and that's everyone's job here is to help you find a great cruise and help do that research to make sure you get a great fit. So I don't know if anybody has anything to add to that, but don't be afraid to reach out, even if you're not at the point where you're like, okay, now I got to call them because I'm ready to book, would be my thoughts. Anyone?
Yeah, I mean, it's not like buying a pair of socks, right? It's a process. So you might need to reach out to us and have a conversation and then sit on it for a bit, might be, if you're especially new to cruising, it might be something you're uncomfortable with right away, but feel free to have that conversation with us. You can have it on social media, through WhatsApp. You can pick up the phone and call us through email. There's so many different ways to contact us where we can just start that conversation, and there'll be no pressure from us.
Right. And just to add to Tina's point, we are unbiased when it comes to a specific cruise line. Even though I might be, more inclined to sailing on Royal Caribbean or Celebrity or whatever it may be, doesn't mean that we aren't going to recommend what works for you. If we find a cruise where, you want all the perks like Princess offers, the Princess Plus, where you have drinks and Wi-Fi, and you want to go to Alaska, well, guess what? Maybe Princess is the best option for you, and that's the recommendation we're going to make. Versus if you want to do a transatlantic, maybe you want a ship that has a little more things to do or a more relaxed atmosphere, and then we'll cater that directly for you. So regardless of our personal preference, when we cruise, we push that aside and we focus on our clients' best interest and what they're really looking for.
Amazing. Carrie, Rick, either one of you have anything to add to that?
No, I'm good.
No? All good. Great. All right. So let's get to Linda's question. She's been patiently waiting while we chatted. So her question is, so group pricing doesn't always have interior cabins per the cruise line? Rick, do you want to take that one?
Let's just say that 80% of the cabins on a ship are balconies. And so we try to get the most we can for our clients who ask for balconies. We'll have occasionally some interior cabins on group pricing as well, but the vast majority, we try to, because it takes some investment on our part, some effort on our part to select these, and it's a question of timing as well. So we have to be very careful. We have limitations what we can pick, so we pick what suits the most of the people.
Great. Tina, I feel like you had something to say.
I'm pretty much just going to say what Rick said, like basically as one of the people that is responsible for picking those cabins on the groups, we are definitely slanted towards getting more balconies than anything because that is our number one request. But we do get ocean views and insides and other types as well. It's just, there's definitely more balconies in our group space than anything.
Great. All right. And we have another question here, and this one is from Diane. She asks, are the waters rougher on the transatlantic cruise compared to a Caribbean cruise?
I'll take that one, given the fact that I was talking about transatlantic earlier.
Sure.
I would have to say that the risk, the known risk is probably higher of rougher seas doing a transatlantic because it is a large ocean. Whereas in the Caribbean, you're protected by islands, you're protected by, you have the whole Eastern Caribbean that kind of blocks off from the Caribbean Sea, and then you have the Gulf of Mexico. So it's very two different, I guess, waterways in a sense that, and the oceans are deep. So to say that you're going to do a transatlantic and guarantee that you're going to have smooth sailings, that we can't do. We can prepare you. We can actually maybe look at some trends and some patterns and say, well, maybe fall is better than spring or vice versa. And, but at the end of the day, we can help you prepare and say, well, here's medications that you can probably consider to take with you in the event of. So it's hard to say, but if I was to be a betting man, I'd probably say that, yes, Caribbean weather can actually be, or Caribbean water can actually be a little bit calmer, unless there's a hurricane that stirred up the oceans and the seas. It is a little rougher, but I wouldn't prevent myself from going on a transatlantic, just in case.
I just want to add a totally unrelated response. I love that picture of you, Diane. If you could just pop it back up there, Linda. I love that picture. So just felt like saying it. Sorry.
That's
I just
awesome.
wanted to add, I have not done a transatlantic, but I have done a trans-Pacific, I guess. Let's call it. It's Hawaii to Vancouver. It is 5 days open water at sea. It will get rough in the evenings if a storm comes in, or like we were getting very windy, rough weather one night, but the other 4 nights were fine. It would be like a Caribbean sailing. It would depend. I would also say it would depend on the ship. If you're on a smaller ship, you might feel it more than a larger ship. So if you're not sure, you might want to choose a larger ship to go on. That's a little more stable. But I would say it all depends on the weather and what happens during that sailing.
Great, thank you. And Eleanor popped into our comments to say she's done 2 transatlantics, and it was like glass both times in September, October. So there's some firsthand knowledge from our expert guests here tonight. Tina, did you have anything to add about? I don't want to bypass you because I know you have a lot of experience.
Actually,
here.
I want to go back to Linda's question for a second, if I can. I want to
Sure.
pop my screen on. If I can
Oh,
figure out
okay.
this.
Yep. So just go to present and hit share screen.
Okay. So
There you go.
Linda asked about interior group pricing. So here's our website, vacationsforcanadians.com. And up here, deals. Now, when we were on, Luke was showing you, he took you down to cruise deals. I'm going to take you down to exclusive rates. And when we're in exclusive rates, we're going to pick our cruise line that we have exclusive rates with. So I'm going to go to Royal Caribbean. I'm going to let it load. Then I'm going to scroll down. And this is, if I open it up, this is all of our exclusive rates that we have just within Vacations for Canadians. You can see that's quite a bit, right? So if you want to know what interiors we have, you can actually click this button here that says interior. I'll just make my screen a bit bigger here. So you can click this button that says interior, click it again, and then all the interiors will pop up to the top. And now you can scroll through and see all the sailings that we have interior cabins with. So that might be something that, Linda, that you want to look into and get your pricing right there all in one screen.
Amazing. So helpful. All right. Well, we are almost at the 8 o'clock mark. So maybe we can just wrap up with one quick question. And what's your favorite cruise destination for a relaxing vacation versus an adventure-filled trip? So we'll start at the top with Tina and work our way around.
So the cruise destination for relaxing?
Yes.
Ooh, okay. I'm gonna have to either go with Grand Cayman or St. Thomas. So both Caribbean, one Western, one Eastern, and I know I didn't pick one, but both have really beautiful beaches. And I think that would be a great ideal day for relaxing.
Fantastic. Luke?
That is a really hard question.
Let's try to make it easy.
No, you know what? Actually, I'll say Nassau, Bahamas, because the last time I was in Nassau, Bahamas, I did the resort for a day. So basically, got off the ship. I forget what the rate was per person. It was a resort for a day. We actually took a bus, got off to the resort. It was an all-inclusive resort, so we had access to the bar, the buffet, the pool, the beach. And it was a cloudy day, and I think a lot of people canceled. We were quiet on the beach. We were relaxed. We went to the pool, the buffet. There was no lineups, drinks galore, and took the bus back. And that was probably one of the most relaxing beach day I ever had, because normally we go to beaches such as, Orient Beach or some of the beaches on various islands, and they're usually busy with a lot of people and that kind of stuff. But this one was actually a really relaxing experience. And I think I might actually add it to my bucket list for the next time I'm in Nassau.
Fantastic. And the interesting that you say the resort for a day, because if you are somebody who's done all-inclusives and wants to add a little bit of that to your trip, we do work with resorts for a day. You can book straight from click through our website to get there, and you can book resorts and enjoy that all-inclusive when you have a port day. So that's great advice. And Rick, how about you? What would be your relaxing destination?
Well, my favorite destination and the relaxing destination is the same. It's Aruba. Love the beaches in Aruba. We get off the ship. We've done it so many times. We get off the ship, take a taxi, or even the bus down to the high-rise hotel area. Just lie on the beach. You can rent a chair, the drinks, food, all there. Everything's at hand. And that's the most beautiful beach, and we enjoy that the most. And then we just enjoy that relaxing day.
Fantastic. And Carrie, last but not least, what is your favorite destination to relax?
Well, Rick just
Although you
stole
don't
mine.
relax, right?
Well, Carrie does not relax.
I have before, though. So Rick stole mine. I would say Aruba, probably one of the nicest beaches I have ever been to, the resort area. So I would agree with him on there. Another one is Antigua. So the last time I was there, it was post-COVID. It was a destination where you actually had to do a tour and everything was sold out. So I made my own tour with Celebrity, and this is what I want to do. I met a bunch of people and we created our own tour, and it was literally a bus to the beach, and has very similar waters to Aruba, crystal clear. You can see your feet in the water, white sand beaches. It was absolutely, there was a restaurant there where you can get lunch and some beers. So it was perfect, relaxing.
That sounds fantastic. And now that it's getting cold, I think we're all ready to head to somewhere sunny and warm. So hopefully you already have your cruise booked. If you don't, let's be diligent and book those ahead of time so we're not having FOMO this time next year. And we're going to wrap things up, and I'll let Tina do the wrap up.
All right. Wow. Look at you with spilling the beans on next week. This is something that's going to be coming out in an announcement very soon. I'm not going to tell you much about it, but you can kind of guess a little bit about, what online booking means. But yeah, we've got some really exciting news about this and the future of vacations for Canadians. So you have to tune in next week to find out about it. So Wednesday at 7. We'll see you here.
Giant teaser.
Look at Karen, all diligent working there.
Yeah, she's
That's
got her
what Karen's doing tonight.
Yeah, I believe that's what Karen's doing tonight for sure. All right, so that's how you can get a hold of us. So like Linda said, be diligent. Give us a call now. As much warning as you can give us, the better. And we'll see you back here next week. Bye, everybody.
All right, thanks.
Bye.
Have a good night.
Bye.